and you are free to.
Oh yes, I'm available. But here's the thing: if you invite me, you need to invite Dr. Gumawang Jati as well.
Okay.
Yes.
Why, Pak Willy?
Oh, we come in pairs.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, he is an expert in technology enhanced language learning.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's very good. I think he can share a lot of useful things to your students and also to the other ajans at your university.
I'm very happy to have both of you to talk with my colleagues at the Faculty of International Studies.
Very good. Yes, next month. Next month.
Okay, we will try to organize that, and then we will invite both of you.
Very good. Dr. Alfan, good morning to you. How are you, Pak?
Thank you. Very well, Pak Willy. See you again in this seminar then.
Yes, happy to be here. Yeah.
Yeah, we are happy then to have some knowledge from both of you. Then new trend, new issues and related to technology and language teaching.
Yes, everything that I know about how to use technology for language teaching, everything comes from Dr. Gumawang Jati.
Really? Yeah. Yeah.
So yes, he will be checking later whether my presentation is in line with what he believes to be important when it comes to using technology for language teaching. He is my guru.
Oh, guru, Suhu.
He is my guru.
And he is a very naughty student. Like disturb me like 3 o'clock in the morning or 4 o'clock in the morning while he was dreaming about technology, and send me texts like subuh or 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock.
Oh, really?
Yes, this is because I often get lost when I'm trying to learn or to use a new technology. But fortunately, I have Pak Gumawang Jati, who is only a click away, so I can, bother him every time.
Yeah, every time.
I need his help.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, dear audience, Pak Willy and Pak Gumawang, I think it's time for us to start. Is it okay?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
But, yeah, whenever we are ready. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everybody. And good morning. I'm happy to have your coming here, your presence in this webinar in a very nice occasions, and then also the experts. As you know, that's our introduction here, then talking and just chatting. Pak Willy and Pak Gumawang is actually the expert. I think distinguished expert in language education, English education. And especially we're focusing on the technology. How can we make use of technology in language teaching? Okay, first of all, I would like to introduce Pak Willy. I think everybody knows then, yeah. If all the teachers and lecturers maybe in English language must know Pak Willy then, because it's very distinguished expert. Now let me read some short introduction, short biodata. If complete biodata, I'm not enough then to read just for the webinars then. Okay, Dr. Willy A. Renandya. He is the language teacher, educator with extensive teaching experience in Asia. Yeah. He currently teaches applied linguistic courses in National Institute of Education Nanyang Technology. And this is one of the, to show, or it's a proof that he's an expert in this language education. He has given more than 100 keynote speakers, keynote presentation. So this is very, very distinguished and very different with the others then. I don't know, 101 or maybe 100, almost 200 then. Presentation, regional and international ELT conferences, and published in the books in the area of second language education. And one of the social social area here, and then he maintained a large language teachers professional development forum in Facebook. Then you can just click on the Google, and then you can see about really biodata then. Okay, this is the short biodata, and then let me now come to the main issue now. This is but really will present the principle and practices. I think this is very clear then in technology in use on language teaching. There are principle and then what is practice. Yeah, I think but Willie will explain it, what is the principle and then how the practices in language teaching make use in during this era, then in the pandemic or some blended learnings and etc. Okay, one of the most important thing here that we have to remember here, then sometimes we are forgetting that is, but Willie will talk about explaining this very detailed later, and this talking about the technology, language education, and something with this we are forgetting that is in the concept of SLA, and but Willie will have. Okay, but Willie, this is a short, what is it, abstract, and then you have about 45 minutes for presentation, and we have 1 hour for this forum, and then 45 minutes for presentation from Pak Willie, and then question and answer 15 minutes. And for the audience, please write down your questions through the chat through the chat room. So we read and then we ask. Pak Willie will answer the question. Okay, I think we are very keen to have the presentation, Pak Willie. Is floors now.
Thank you very much, Pak Alfian. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. During my presentation, I will be having a chat with some of you. I would like Dr. Alfian to have his video and audio on, please. And also Ajahn Parichat,
yes,
from Thailand. Ajahn Parichat, can you please have your audio and video on?
Yes.
Yes, very good. I'll be asking you some very easy questions for you to answer a bit later. Yeah. Okay. Okay. The topic of my presentation is on technology, and technology in the context of English language teaching. I'll be talking about principles. I'll be talking about practices as well. And hopefully you will find 1 or 2 of the ideas useful for your own teaching and also for use with your students back in the classroom or back in the online teaching settings that most of you are having at the moment. Okay, technology. Here is one thing: technology is everywhere. Every time, everywhere, you will need to use technology for different purposes. To call people, to set up your calendar, to record videos, to record audios and things like that, to send email messages or other text messages. A quick question for all of us is this: can we live without technology? Maybe 20 years ago the answer is yes, but now maybe the answer is very hard, very difficult. More important question for us, for you, for me, for everyone, for language teachers is this: can we teach without technology? Quick answer, Ajahn Parichat: yes, no, maybe. Quick answer?
Maybe.
Maybe not, yes. And at least at the moment, during the pandemic, I think everyone will need to use some kind of technology in order to help us teach, in order for us to be able to deliver a lesson to our students. Okay, here's another question again for everyone. This is for Dr. Alfian.
Yeah,
Alfan. Technology will replace teachers one day. One day can be tomorrow, next week, the year after, or maybe 5 years from now. The next presentation by Dr. Kumawang Jati is on AI, artificial intelligence, with the potential of replacing, I'm not saying it will, but the potential of replacing many of the things that we normally do in the traditional classroom or using traditional technology. Question to you is this: will technology replace teachers one day? Dr. Alfan?
I think I prefer to say no then.
I agree
No,
with you fully. Yes, the answer is no. Teaching is no fun without the human interactions between you, the teachers, and the students. Yeah, there's a lot of things that we can do when the students are there in front of you, when we can relate to them, when we can interact with them in meaningful ways. However, I think we need to remember this. This is why technology is important for us, for you, for me, and for everyone these days. Teachers who know how to use technology will one day replace those who do not know how to use technology for teaching purposes. Whether you teach mathematics, whether you teach math, science, whether you teach language, I think you will have to remember this. And this year, this time is just timely for us to, to learn a lot about how technology can be used to engage students, how technology can be used to deliver lessons in a more interesting and effective manner. However, when you look around, when you look at the newspapers, newspaper reports, when you look at research reports, I think one of the questions or one of the things that people have been asking is this: when we teach language, when we want to help improve our students' ability in speaking, in reading, in listening, and in writing, will technology provide the best answer? Yeah. So the title here of this newspaper article that appeared in the UK newspaper, The Guardian, is technology a silver bullet? A silver bullet is something that you can use to solve all your problems. Yeah. I think in the classroom, you have seen a lot of problems happen in the classroom. The students are reluctant to speak English. The students don't grow linguistically. After 5-6 years, they are still not able to use English. Now with technology, do you think it will solve all of your problems at Prince Songkla University, Ajahn Parijat? Will technology solve all your problems or all of your students' problems in learning English at Prince Songkla University? Yes? No? No? Okay. I think Ajahn Parijat is a very smart woman. She knows the answer. If you look at research, in the literature, in the professional literature, I think you will have seen words like this, words that are associated with the use of technology in language teaching. People will tell you, yes, technology can transform the way you teach in the classroom. Technology can support how you teach your students and how your students learn the language. And finally, technology can also improve students' ability to use the language. Yeah. So these are words, these are big words that we hear almost every day. Now, today, I want to share with you some of the things that I've seen in the literature. I want to share with you some of the research studies that have been done and see whether technology actually has an impact on language teaching or language education. Sorry. Here is one example, a very nice research study that was published recently in a journal called System. System is one of those Q1, top tier journals in our field. The title is very interesting. The more technology, the better. A comparison of teacher-student interaction in high and low technology use in elementary EFL classrooms in China. Imagine this context, yeah? The researcher is interested in looking at two groups of teachers. One group of teachers use a lot of technology in teaching, and the other groups of teachers do not use as much technology. And the setting is villages or small towns. I think you can relate to this, in your own teaching context, maybe in Indonesia or in Thailand, in Vietnam, and in many other places. Now, what is of interest to the researchers is this. They walked into the classroom, they sat down, and they observed what was happening in the classroom in terms of the kind of interactions that happens between the teachers and the students. Do the teachers use a lot of English? I think that is one of the questions that they asked. Do the students use a lot of English in the classroom? Do the students ask questions, or do the teachers ask higher order questions in the classroom? Do the teachers provide interesting, effective feedback to students to help the students learn in the classroom? So these are things that the researchers are interested in. Are you with me on that? Yeah. Dr. Alfan, what do you think the results are likely to be? If you were to do a similar study like this, observing teachers who use a lot of technology and teachers who use less, small amount of technology in the classroom, let's say in Malang or in small, towns near Malang, what do you think the results are likely to be like?
I think there will be more interactions than between teachers and students.
Yes, good guess.
Like in Malang.
Yes, good guess. That was what I would have thought too, but it turns out that was not what happened in the classroom.
Oh.
And that was not what the results told us. This is the results. Essentially, between these two groups of teachers, there's no difference. They're the same. And number two, in terms of the use of English in the classroom, the amount of English that the teachers use and the students use in the classroom, very small, very minimal. So it's very much like the traditional non-technology language classrooms. Number three, the teachers ask the usual questions like display questions and directives, the kind of questions that teachers usually ask, and nothing else basically. Display questions are questions like this. Pak Alfan, what or where do you teach? I know the answer, yeah? But, I would ask you the same questions. Where do you teach? But Alfan, what time is it now? That's display questions. Directives will be like open page 10. Don't forget your homework, things like that. So very, very typical. And in terms of feedback that the teachers give in the classroom, very little as well.
Little, correct.
Yeah. So the results were a little bit disappointing, but at the same time, I was not very surprised. Yeah. And I'll tell you why I was not very surprised a bit later. Next. Now here is another interesting study, research. I think as teachers, we also need to be aware of what research has been telling us about how things should be done in the classroom with technology, without technology, or the way we teach in general. I think we need to, from time to time, refer to empirical research evidence as a basis for us to understand how things are and how to go about helping our students develop their language learning proficiency. Now, this one is very interesting. It also was published in a top-tier journal, Computer-Assisted Language Learning. It's a very high-profile journal. And the title is also extremely important, at least for me. Technologies for foreign language learning, a review of technology types and their effectiveness. Now, this is very, very interesting to me. Now, here is what the study was about. So there's a group of researchers, Golonka et al., with his colleagues. They looked at the professional literature and they reviewed about 350 studies. Studies that involve the use of technology, studies that involve comparing teachers who use technology and teachers who did not use technology, and see if there's any interesting, effect on the use of technology for language teaching, for language learning in the classroom. Again, Ajahn Parichat, are you still there? Are you still there with me?
Yes,
Very
I
good.
am.
Yes,
I'm glad that you're still awake with me. Okay, now remember, this is a review study. So the authors, the researchers examine more than 300 studies, research studies, and they wanted to find out whether, well, actually, does technology have any effect on language learning? So what do you think they found in their summary in their review of these 350 studies. Was there any big effect of technology on language learning?
Oh,
Say maybe.
Maybe.
Okay, Ajahn Parijat is now not very sure about what to say. Yes, no, maybe. Okay, here's the result. Very quick. Now, to me, this is extremely important. I'm not saying that technology will never have any effect on language learning. But according to this study, after reviewing so many studies, the conclusion is this. Number one, the effect is limited. Limited in bahasa Indonesia is sedikit.
Sedikit.
Yeah, sedikit, saitik, sekedip, very small, very little. Yeah, very little. Ajahn Parijat, how do you say little, limited in Thai?
เล็กน้อย
Leg noi, yes, that's what I wanted to say.
Leg noi.
So the effect is very leg noi. But there is one thing here that is very interesting. And the second point here is, expected. The second point is pretty much in line with what I believe to be, one of the most important functions of technologies for language learning: effect on pronunciation. In other words, if you want to improve on your pronunciation, if you want your students to improve on their pronunciation, technology is wonderful. Yeah. So later I'll share with you how technology can help you and your students improve on your pronunciation. Number three is also very important, very interesting. Very often in our class, our students are very quiet. Yeah. So you try the best you can, you try to motivate them, you try to use all sort of interesting materials, but your students refuse to share their thoughts, refuse to speak in the classroom. Minimal talk, right? Yeah, technology is wonderful. Technology can help students to produce more language through the medium of maybe social media or other applications out there. I think this is also another important thing. If you want your students to do more, to say more, to write more, then technology is wonderful. Okay. So the big question that I want to address today is this: can technology enhance language learning? And the answer can be yes, no, or maybe. Yeah. So three answers are all possible. Now here are the main outlines. 3 points that I want to talk about today. Number one, using technology with little pedagogy. Number two, using technology with a lot of good pedagogy. And number three, using technology with second language learning pedagogy. So 3 ways that I will be sharing with you. And for each, I will ask you the same question. Will technology, when used in this way, improve, enhance students' English language proficiency? Okay, let's begin with the first one. So point number one is this: using technology with little change in or no change in pedagogy. I think this is happening a lot, unfortunately. The study that we saw in China, I think that probably is a case of how teachers use technology, but with very minimal or with no change in pedagogy. This type of technological use or technology use for teaching is often called a simple substitute or a simple replacement. So in the past, without technology, that's what you did in the classroom, and that's how you did in the classroom. Now with technology, you did the same, you are doing the same thing. Very small change in the way you use or you teach in the classroom. So it's a case of a simple substitute or a simple replacement. In the past, when you want to distribute handouts to your students, what do? You prepare the handout, you type it out, you get it printed, and then you give it away. You give it out to your students in the classroom. That's document sharing in the classroom in the old ways. But nowadays, you can use a lot of applications to do that. You can use WhatsApp, you can use email, you can use any other means to distribute. Number two, Google Forms are now very popular. In the past, you need to print out the form, ask the student to fill in one by one, but now everyone, 50 students can fill the form at the same time, and you don't have to retype their responses. Spell check is another thing. Text with hyperlinks is also another example of how teachers can now easily use technology to do things that it took quite a while for them to do in the past. But then there's basically no change in the way. If there's no change in the way you use this technology, then I don't think you can expect an important effect on language learning. For example, nowadays people use digital text for teaching reading instead of printed text. Very common nowadays, and it makes it possible as well. Yeah. In the past, you would teach reading by printing out a reading passage and give it out to your students, but now you can make everything digital, right? So very straightforward. But if there is no change in pedagogy, can you expect that the e-version of the reading passage will help students become a better reader? The answer is probably not. In fact, if I were to ask you, if you give your students printed reading passages and ask another group of students to read the e-versions of the same reading passages, do you think they would understand the text in the same way? Or which one do you think will result in deeper comprehension?
The books.
Yeah?
Printed books.
Printed books.
One.
Yes, interestingly, it's the printed one. If the focus of your reading lesson is on deeper level of comprehension, apparently print materials are superior because students tend to be more focused. Students can take notes very easily. Students can read and read it very easily. But with digital materials, I think there's a lot of distraction there. Yeah. But when it comes to reading, easy entertainment type of books, then I don't think there's any difference. Both media are okay. So this is something that we need to keep in mind. The media itself is just a media. Yeah, what is important is how we use the media for teaching purposes. Here's another example of a simple substitution or simple replacement. In the past, left-hand side, in the past, you use the whiteboard or the blackboard and you explain some grammatical, features in the English language, like the subjunctive clause. But today, with technology, you use your computer, you use PowerPoint and everything, but basically you explain the same concept to your students in the same way. There's no change in pedagogy. You are still using what has been called the PPP approach to language learning. PPP stands for presentation, teacher's explanation. The second P is giving students practice, usually worksheet exercises. And then the last P is production, giving students some activities related to the target language items that you have just presented. Very, very is a great example of a simple substitution or a simple replacement. There's no change in pedagogy. Now, why do you think? Now, here is a very important question for you, for me, for everyone. What are some of the reasons why teachers use technology, but with minimal change in pedagogy? Any thoughts on this? Alfan again?
Yeah.
Any thoughts on why teachers simply use technology without any major change in the way they teach or the way they deliver their lessons in the classroom? What are some of the reasons that you can think of?
Maybe because the teacher is not accustomed to use the technology, Jen.
Very good. Yes, the teachers are not well versed. They are still learning how to use technology. Anything else? Ajahn Prichat, anything else that you can think about? Any other reasons? Now, here's one example. Everything is happening very quickly, very fast, and teachers, usually don't have enough time to learn, the kind of technology that they need to use, and also the pedagogy that comes with it. Number two, very often they find themselves in a situation where they have no choice. I simply have to use it now. Number three is, to me, the most important: no motivation. Now, this usually happens among the older, the more senior teachers in the classroom. Maybe they're already in the 50s or maybe in the 60s, and they feel that I'm already 60 years old and I'm going to retire next year. I don't need to learn how to use technology for my teaching. So these are some examples. Yeah. Now, if technology is used in that way, if technology is used with minimal change in pedagogy, can it then improve our students' English language proficiency? Answer, please. Yes, no, maybe. Together, all of you?
Maybe.
Yes?
Maybe.
I would say maybe not. Not maybe, but maybe not. It's most likely no. Yeah, most likely no. When you teach, you need to base your teaching on a strong pedagogy. Without pedagogy, I don't think we can expect our students to learn a lot from our teaching. Number two now. So number one is easy, number one is done. Yeah, using technology with minimal change in pedagogy. Number two is more interesting to me. This is using technology, and the use of technology is supported by good mainstream pedagogy. Mainstream pedagogy refers to those new pedagogies that people believe to be important in education, for teaching, for learning, and so on and so forth. Now, these are things that you may have heard before: student-centered learning. When you teach, you need to pay attention. You need to address the needs of your students. Teaching is not just about teaching, but teaching is about empowering your students to learn. And one example of a student-centered learning is making use of inquiry or discovery-based learning. So instead of us just lecturing our students, giving students presentations using PowerPoint slides, we can create a problem, we can create something that is more interesting for the students to work on and to discover for themselves. Now, this is the kind of pedagogy that a lot of people believe to be very important if you truly want to engage your students during the learning process. Yeah. And people also mention about the 21st century skills, the 4 C's, for example, the importance of creativity, the importance of criticality, collaboration, and also communication. So these are some examples of new pedagogies that can be used to inform the way we teach in the classroom with technology. Let me now share with you 6 principles. 6 principles of good teaching. I think these ideas, these principles are applicable whether you teach language, whether you teach history, whether you teach anything in the school context. Yeah, let me say that again. Now, these are general principles, general educational principles that are applicable whether you teach English, whether you teach mathematics, science, history, social studies, or whatever. If you want your lesson to be useful, want your students to learn a lot, then one thing you need to do is to make the content of your lesson meaningful for each and every single student in your classroom. So that's the idea behind personalized learning. Yeah, if you are able to attend to the different needs, different learning styles of your students, then chances are very high that your lesson will be more successful. If you begin a lesson and the topic is something that is so far away from the students' personal experiences, I think they will have a hard time relating to your lesson. And your job as a teacher will have to help the students to see the connections between the lesson and their daily life and their daily experiences. So that is the idea behind personalized learning. Number two is another very, very important principle in language, in learning in general, and also in language learning. The idea behind engaged learning. If you believe in student-centered learning, then everything you do in the classroom will have to be done in such a way that every single student in your classroom is fully engaged, is paying attention, is listening, and is learning fully in the classroom. Now, some people have suggested that a successful teacher, an effective teacher, is somebody who is able to engage 90% of the students, 90% of the time. That is the standard of good teaching. Pak Alvan, have you been able to engage 90% of your students 90% of the time when you are teaching in the classroom? If the answer is yes, then you can say that you are a very good teacher. You are an effective teacher. Yeah. Okay, 80% is okay. You can bring it down further to 75%. But if the engagement level of your students is only 50%, I think that is not good. That's not good enough. Yeah. So engagement is important. Engagement is usually associated strongly with learning. So learning happens when students are engaged mentally, when they are engaged emotionally as well, and when they are engaged socially as well. So these are three major considerations. So if you sit in the classroom and for the whole 1 hour, you are talking and your students are just listening to you, then I don't think you are able to, say that your students are fully engaged, because listening only is just one aspect of engagement. The students will have to be actively thinking, making predictions, making inferences as they're listening to you. The next one is also very, very important, especially for language learning: authentic learning. Authentic learning. Now, this is interesting because what we often do in the classroom, what we teach in the classroom, is often something that has no direct relevance to what we expect our students to be able to do outside the classroom. Remember the example that I gave you earlier on about the subjunctive clause, for example, the subjunctive clause. If you spend a lot of time, for example, teaching your students what the subjunctive clause is and what the rules that govern the subjunctive clauses, for example, I think you'll be wasting a lot of your time and your teaching is not authentic, because in real life, outside the classroom, people rarely use the subjunctive clauses. Very, very rare. So the connection between what you do in the classroom and what people actually do outside the classroom is very small. And because of that, students may not be interested in your learning. Next one is feedback. Feedback can be a pain for teachers. Teachers are busy people. Yeah, but feedback is so important, whether you like it or not. If you want to become if you want to be a good teacher, then you need to provide a lot of feedback to your students, because feedback actually is an opportunity for you to help students remember what they have learned and for students to relearn what they have just learned. The first time you teach something, anytime you teach something new, the learning usually is very small. The learning is very superficial. The learning is very fragile. Fragile means you hear the key points and the next day you forget. That happens all the time. So feedback gives you that important opportunity for you to help the students to relearn to revise things that they have just learned. Without feedback, I think learning will be very, very difficult. Flipped classroom is also very popular. I think technology is a wonderful tool for you to engage students in a flipped learning classroom context where deep learning can happen a lot more in the classroom. Before the students come to the classroom, they need to read, they need to watch video materials, they need to do a lot of things before they come to class. But classroom time then is dedicated fully to helping students understand the content at a much deeper level. And finally, collaboration is also very, very important. Collaboration, is important because now we know that knowledge or learning is socially constructed. I need to say both. Knowledge or learning is individually constructed. It's your responsibility as an individual. But at the same time, if you work with other people, if you share what you have learned with other people, I think you will learn a lot more. I think that's what I want to say. So knowledge and learning is also socially, individually, and also socially constructed. Yeah. Okay. Now let me end this session using technology with good pedagogy by quoting this person. Professor Mike Sharples has a very interesting thing to say for us to remember. To improve education, we need to focus on pedagogy, not technology. Something for you to remember. Do you agree with that? Together, please, agree or not?
Yeah, agree.
Agree?
Yes, agree.
Putri, Ibu Putri, agree?
Yes, agree.
Ibu Putri, agree? I disagree. I think it's the statement is too strong, Ibu Putri. To improve education, focus on pedagogy and technology. Yeah. So it's not technology, but and pedagogy. They go hand in hand. Using technology or using certain kind of technology will have to be blended, supported by a specific kind of pedagogy. So both are, reciprocal, both are mutually supportive, I think. And going forward in the future, there will be a lot more new technologies that will be introduced, and we will have to change our pedagogy, we'll have to adjust our pedagogy because that new technology may require different ways of approaching learning in the classroom. Okay, now here is another question for you, Ibu Putri. Ibu Putri, can you have your audio and video on again?
Yes.
Now, if technology is used in that way, yeah, technology is used with good pedagogy, will that improve language learning? Will that improve language proficiency in the classroom? Ibu Putri,
yes.
Maybe yes. I like that. I asked you to choose one, not two. If you say maybe yes, that is two answers. Yes or no?
It's yes.
It's a yes. Okay. Ajahn Prichard.
I say yes.
You say yes. Okay. I say maybe. So my choice is maybe. Maybe means maybe yes, maybe no. Yeah. Now this is important for us to realize. Remember, I mentioned very specifically, this is using technology, and the use of technology is supported by good educational principles, general educational principles. The principles I just shared are important, are good for any kind of teaching, whether you teach language, whether you teach other subject matters in the classroom, general. So they are good pedagogy. So I would say the answer is maybe. Yeah, hopefully maybe yes. Now my last point, Ibu Putri, please hang on. My last point is this. This is point number 3. Yeah. Point number 1 is using technology with minimal pedagogy. Number 2, technology with a lot of pedagogy, but general pedagogy. And number 3 is this, using technology with SLA-inspired pedagogy. SLA stands for Second, language acquisition, or language learning, basically. Second, language learning pedagogy. Now, what are these pedagogies? Three L's. Very easy to remember, 3 L's. The first L is this, language input. Language input is nutrition, language nutrition. Yeah. Number 2 is language processing. And L number 3 is language use. Yeah. So this is what I'm going to spend the next 5 minutes or so with you. Using technology in a way that is supported, that is informed by second language learning pedagogies. And these pedagogies are in 3. L1, language input, language processing, and language use. Yeah, let me begin with the first one. What is language input? This is language input. Everything that you see, everything that you hear, you see and hear, reading passages, audio materials, video materials, anything that you can download from the internet, language related, these are all input, and technology is just wonderful. 20 years ago, English language input is very small, very minimal. The main source of language input was mainly in the classroom. But now the students can go all the way beyond the classroom, and they can receive a lot of language input from different sources. Yeah. So technology is a source of a lot of language input. Point number 2, research tells us very clearly that language input through listening, viewing, and reading is a sine qua non. Sine qua non is like a precondition, it's like prerequisite. Without input, no learning, basically, no language learning. Yeah. That's essentially what I just said. No input, no learning. So remember this. If you are serious about teaching language, if you are serious about helping your students develop their language proficiency, then the first thing you need to do is make sure that your students get a lot of input from your own materials, and also more importantly from the internet or from technology. Yeah. So input nowadays is just a click away. You click on something, there you go. Input is there. You click on Google's, everything is in the English language. Okay. That is input. Okay. Here are some examples. Ebooks, graded readers. Graded readers are easy reading materials that you can find on the internet. Stories, thousands of them that are available on the internet. TED Talks, Netflix, talk shows, all of these are language input. Again, language input is like nutrition. If you have a child and you want the child to grow healthily, to grow well, then you need to give him or her a lot of nutrition. In the same way, you students also need a lot of nutrition. And the best source of nutrition is the language itself, is the input. Now, here is some support for what I just said. If you give students a lot of language input, this is what is going to happen. Through reading, for example, then it's called extensive reading. And through listening, it's called extensive listening. Extensive reading means reading a lot, reading every day. Extensive listening means listening or viewing every day, for maybe 10 or 15 minutes on a daily basis. Now, what happens if your students spend a lot of time doing this, receiving a lot of language input on a daily basis? This is what he says. Ibu Putri, are you a student or a teacher, Ibu Putri?
Both.
Oh, you're a student and a teacher. Yes. That's really nice. Can you read this for me, Ibu Putri?
Yes, good things happen to students who read and listen a great deal in the foreign language. Research studies show they become better and more confident readers, they write better, their listening and speaking abilities improve, and their vocabularies become richer.
Yes, do you agree with him? Please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, please say yes. I mean, he's a good man. I mean, he's been writing a lot of books. He's a professor actually at the University of Hawaii. And what he said actually rings true to many students out there and to many teachers out there. In other words, receiving or getting a lot of input on a daily basis through reading, through listening is a good thing. And if you do that, your language will develop beautifully. You'll be able to speak well. You'll be able to read with greater comprehension. You'll be able to interact with other people. Yeah. So that is what extensive reading is all about. And as I said early on, all these resources are just a click away. You go to the internet, you find this room to read, hundreds, thousands of easy reading materials that you can download for free. If you are very much into viewing, listening, this is a great website, Storyline Online. Yeah, you can listen to, you can view thousands of interesting stories read aloud by celebrities. This guy, I think is what's the name? Kevin Costner is a movie star. So you will be able to see presidents, prime ministers, important people in education reading aloud. Now, this tells us that reading is so important for education and also for language learning as well. If you are looking for another free, resource for viewing, listening, videos, and audios, here is a wonderful, wonderful website. It's called ELLLO. Yeah, triple L, ELLLO. You'll be able to get a lot of language input, language nutrition from that website. It's free. Now, if you have some money, I'm sure you have some money. And if you want to, yes, if you want to do it more, if you want to do it more systematically, if you want to make sure that every single student actually spend time reading every day for a longer period of time, then this is a program. It's called X Reading. X Reading was developed by this guy, name is Paul Goldberg. And X Reading is actually an online digital library. And it has more than 1,000 storybooks. And at any time during the day, students can read any kind of the books from the library. They can read and listen at the same time, anytime, anywhere. The system is also equipped with built-in learning management system. And that will help you to check, to monitor, to assign tasks and activities to your students to make sure that students actually do what they're supposed to be doing. So it's a wonderful, wonderful system that will allow you, the teacher, to assign reading, the kind of reading stories that you want your students to do, and you can check your students' comprehension, you can track their progress and everything. Yeah. However, this program is not free. You have to buy. That's why I said, you need money to do this. But look at it this way. If you build a library with 1,000 books, I think that will cost you a lot of money. You need a room, you need to hire people to look after the library, and you can't monitor actually whether the students actually read the books or not. So this is a wonderful program. Let me know if you're interested. I can introduce you to the owner, and I can invite him to give you a demonstration of how this X Reading works. Now here are some concerns about extensive reading and extensive listening, about reading and listening on a daily basis. Essentially, this is what I've been hearing from people. Well, yes, input is important. Yes, I agree, but not many books that I have. I have no time. I'm not interested, and many other things. And because of this, I've put together a small paper, and the paper is called Top 10 Implementation Issues of Extensive Reading. And this beautiful ebook is free for you to download. I'll tell you how to download this book later, yeah? Okay, now here is another support, very important for us to remember. There's a group of researchers who wanted to find out how some students became so good in speaking English, while many others are not so good. So they asked a group of students, high school students from Morocco, especially the best speakers, because they wanted to find out how they developed their proficiency in the English language. And this is what they said. Many of them said or estimate that they have learned 70 to 85% of their English by going online or by watching satellite TV. Yeah, listen again. Yeah. They asked top students who are very, very good, high school students. Usually high school students are okay, but they're not wonderful. They're not able to express themselves in English. Now, these are those students who are really, really very good. And they interviewed them and they said this. They learned their English mostly from going online. It's good news, but bad news as well. Good news because, well, the information is there, the technology, the internet is a great source of language learning, but at the same time, it is also saying that what we do in the classroom, you and I, what we teach in the classroom, plays only a small part in it. Yeah, so remember that.
Yeah.
Now, here are some examples of people, students who receive a lot of language input, nutrition, and they became, very proficient speakers of the language. Yeah. The first picture is a teenage girl from Korea. The second one is from Thailand. Ajahn Prichat, this girl is really wonderful. I met her a couple of years ago. Her English was just wonderful. And she said to me that she watched a lot of movie cartoons every day. Here is a boy from Vietnam. His English is also wonderful. He took a test, IELTS test recently, and he got 7.5 on IELTS. This is amazing. 7.5 on IELTS is amazing without extra tuition, no private tuitions, nothing. These are some teachers from Indonesia, wonderful teachers, lecturers from Indonesia, and they speak English really, really wonderfully. Yeah, you probably recognize some of the one at the bottom is Ibu Ifon from UM.
Ifon from UM.
Yes.
Malang,
yes. The one above is Ibu Laksmita. Ibu Laksmita teaches at Sanata Dharma University. English is also wonderful. Okay. Remember the 3 L's. The first one is you need all this language input. Without this language input, no learning can happen, nothing. But L2 is also important. L2 is about language processing. Input alone is not enough. The input will have to be easy. Very, very important for us to remember. Now, if you have been teaching in the classroom and your materials are difficult to understand by your students, then you're not doing a good job, because it says the language will have to be at the student's level. It has to be easy for them. And the content will have to be something that is magical. The content will have to be something that is so interesting, that is so compelling, that the students will want to do it every day, daily, every week, every month, and for all the rest of the year. So it has to be so interesting. Now, here are some of the pictures. Yeah, these pictures tell you very clearly that these kids, find the storylines magical. They will just continue reading from page 1 all the way to the last page. Yeah, Bu Putri? Reading from cover to cover. From cover to cover, yeah? Is that what you do? Reading from cover to cover? Yes, just the cover, front cover, and the back cover.
And the back cover.
And nothing in between. But I think you get the message. This is how learning happens, actually. Yeah. Now, here are some of the books that I have been reading, which I find also magical. These are not storybooks, but these are information books that I find really, really interesting. I bought the books. When I started reading, I just couldn't stop. So that is the kind of books that you need to make available for your students. Wonderful books. The last one, 21 Lessons for the 21st Century. That was a book that was recommended by Dr. Gumawang Jati. Excellent, excellent book. 21 Lessons for the 21st Century.
Sorry, but will you have still 5 minutes more then?
Okay, I'm almost done.
Yes, it's very interesting.
Yes, these are some of the things that I have been watching, I've been reading during my younger years. Yeah. So what is important to remember is the content will have to be interesting, not for you, but for your students. If you have that in place, then a lot of learning will happen in the classroom. Number 3 now, the third L is language use. Yeah, the first and the second L's sort of nutrition. You are preparing your students. You are giving them all they need in order for them to use the language. So the 3L comes a bit later. The 3L is about how you can help your students to speak fluently and accurately. There's no other way. You have to use this method. And this method is called the again and again method. You simply have to do it again and again and again until you become very fluent, until you are able to do things easily and smoothly and quickly, and also correctly. Yeah, you simply have to do it again and again. You can't just do it once. No way. Yeah, if in 1 year your students get an opportunity to speak in the classroom only for 1 hour for the whole year, that's not possible for them to develop fluency in the English language. They have to do it every day, every single day. Look at this guy on the left-hand side. Yeah, the guy on the right-hand side is the coach, the pelatih, the trainer. The guy on the left-hand side is the player or the learner. Yeah, the guy on the left-hand side is hitting the same ball again and again and again and again until he eventually is able to hit the ball and place the ball at the right place in the court, quickly, fluently, and accurately. And in order for that to happen, he will have to do it every day, again and again and again. You can't just give one practice and that's it. Not possible, yeah? So, Ibu Putri, can you read this for me again?
Yes.
Yes. People
learn to read by reading.
Very good. That means you have to do it again and again, yeah? Number 2, one more time.
People learn to speak by speaking.
Good. Next.
People learn to listen by listening.
Yes, listening. Good. Okay, the last one now, the last one. Listen to the way listen to the way she speaks. People learn to listen by listening. She's not very sure. Last one. And people learn to write.
People learn to write by reading and writing.
Very good. Yeah, I think she is becoming very creative now. So yeah, again, this is something that is easy for us to remember. Yeah, you have to do the same thing again and again until you become very good, until you become fluent, until you are able to do things quickly, accurately, and automatically and effortlessly. Now, here is an example of an application, technology now. It's called Flipgrid. I think it's very popular. A lot of teachers are using it. It's a video sharing tool. It's a video. Basically, you can ask your students to record their voice on a topic and then send it to you. But if you do that only once, then you are not giving the students enough practice. Now, here's what you need to do. Tell the students to record and then to listen to their recording. And if they are not happy, then you have to do it again, record again, okay? So that's number 1. Number 2, once the first one is done, then the students will have to record again, the same thing now, and share it with their friends. Flipgrid allows you to share very quickly, very easily. Share with their friends and get feedback from their friends. And I'm sure the feedback will have to be, will be very, very mixed. And then he'll have to record again. So this is what I mean by again and again method. And finally, they have to record again, but this time they need to do it so well, because then they will have to publish the recording on, on a public space like YouTube. Yeah, this is just an example of how you can use a small piece of technology in order to give students that needed practice to develop their fluency and accuracy in the English language. So these are the 3 L's, yeah? Using technology, and your use of technology is informed by this SLA-inspired pedagogy: language input, language processing, and language use. Okay, all of you, please turn on your audio. I want you now to say together, can technology used in this way improve your students' English language proficiency? 3, 2, 1, together.
Yes. That's the requirement.
Yes.
Yes, no.
Fine. Thank you very much. Yeah. So this is just a quick summary. Technology is here with us.
Is here with us. Technology is good pedagogy and language principle.
Yes. Yes, technology is going to be with us for many, many years to come. So I think you need to think about how we can use technology plus good pedagogy plus second language learning principles. Yeah. So again, can technology improve language learning? The answer is yes.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Very interesting and amazing presentation, but really we got knowledge, huge number of knowledge and principle and practices in this. Okay, to sharpen our understanding, the audience participants' understanding, then there are 3 questions. I got 3 questions. The first one is from Mia Rahmawati. The question is, Firamati from Unisma. How can we personalize student learning when we are in online teachings like now? The first one, how can we personalize our students and during the online teaching or interactions?
That's a very good question.
Then the second here.
Let me just respond to the first question.
Oh, okay,
Alpha.
yes,
yeah.
thank you. Okay.
Very briefly, and you can add in, yes, it is different. Teaching online and teaching offline is different. Offline teaching is easier because we know the students very well and we can see the facial expressions. We can, very easily identify different groups of students in our classroom, the high ability, the mid ability, and the low ability, and we can adjust our lessons accordingly. In online teaching, I think it's a bit more challenging, especially if you are not able to see their faces. So the first thing that I do, it's a very simple idea. When I start teaching on Zoom, online teaching, the first thing I do is I would ask everyone in my class to turn on their video and to turn on their audio. Just a simple greeting, just a simple conversation with your students is one way to get more personal with your students. If you can't see their faces, then teaching becomes very impersonal because you're just talking to the screen. Yes. And that is terrible. Yeah. Yes. Now, in terms of content, in terms of personalizing your content, I think the same principle applies. If you have been teaching your students for 1 year or 2 years, then you know who they are. If you don't know who they are, what their interests are, then you should not be teaching them. I think you should know them. And that then becomes the basis for you when you choose the topics, when you choose the materials, and the way you explain the lessons will have to be adapted so that you can address the needs of the students. So again, very important for you to get to know your students, whether you are teaching online or offline, and then use that as a basis for you to connect, to make your lessons more interesting, more meaningful, and more relevant, and more importantly, more engaging for your students. Great question. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pak Willy. And then this question number 2 is from Arifin Nur Himawan from University of Ahmad Dahlan, Jakarta. This refers to the character. How can we develop the student character during the teaching? Because the second is because the difficult to comprehend the student behaviors or character. How can we develop the student character actually during the onlines, because we don't face? Okay.
Yes, I understand where the question is coming from. You know, as a teacher, we also want to teach values to our students. We also want to develop students' characters or personality in the classroom. I think one of the best ways will be for you to choose relevant materials. When you choose a reading passage, find something that has a story, that has a moral lesson built in. I think that's the best thing you can do. From that story, from that moral lesson, then you can explain to the students, like, this is an example of a good behavior, this is an example of a bad behavior, and things like that. I think that's the only way you can do. To me, the responsibility of developing students' character not rests with you, but with their parents at home. Yeah. They are not your children. I don't think. No, they are not their children. I think we need to be aware that our relationship with our students is good to have a warm relationship, but remember, they are not your children. They're not. Yeah. So you need to keep that professional relationship professional. In that sense, it's nice to be warm, it's nice to be close, but not too close. It's very dangerous if you have a too close a relationship with your students. What happens now, this often happens in many places, when the teachers get too emotionally close with their students. When something happens to their students, you will also suffer emotionally. And that may be harmful, psychologically speaking, for you. I like my students, but I would like to also keep a distance between me and my students.
Yeah. Okay. The last question, Pak Willy, then from Ati Umama from Unisma Malang. This asks a question about how we provide the effective feedbacks on writing during the online to maintain student interaction, teacher-student interactions.
Yes. Providing feedback, yeah?
Yes.
To students writing, yeah.
Yes.
If you do it during the class session, that will take up a lot of your time. My suggestions is for you to do it outside, outside the outside the lesson. And technology can help actually, but it's going to take quite a bit of your time. I know an application called Screen editing, screen capture.
Screencast-O-Matic.
Yeah, Screencast-O-Matic. Yeah, Screencast-O-Matic allows you to highlight certain parts of your students' writing, and it also allows you to comment orally, to give feedback orally on the problems that your students have in their writing. I think technology is wonderful. It highlights, it captures just the problem areas, and at the same time, the teacher can provide verbal information, all recorded by the system. The name of the application is Screencast-O-Matic. The free version allows you to record for 15 minutes, about 15 minutes. Yeah. And that's more than enough. You don't want to give 1 hour feedback to your students. Your students' writing is maybe only 1 or 2 paragraphs. Just give them very short feedback. 1 or 2 minutes should do. Your feedback should not be longer than the students' writing.
Yeah. Okay. I think we actually want to listen to you from you and the audience. And I believe that all the audience will have more time, but because of the limited of time, and Pak Willy, we are sorry to stop because Pak will continue with Pak Kumawang then. Thank you very much, Pak Willy, for your nice and very amazing presentation. I think it's not only give the theory, but you apply the theory, the principle in this during the interaction. This is one of the example of the how to teach online like this. I think this is what I want. And I think the conclusion is very clear from your Pak Willy's conclusion that we have to use technology with pedagogy, and then don't forget we rely also to fulfill the principle of SLA. I think that is the conclusion, Pak Willy. Do you agree?
Yes, absolutely. Can we check with the audience if they really like my presentation? Then they can probably cut their hands.
Okay, the audience, please have reactions then. With the reactions.
Thank you very much, Pak Willy.
We want more, Pak Willy.
Yes. Later during after Pak Kumawang Jati's presentation, after his presentation, please clap louder.
Give applause to Pak Willy, everyone.
Stand up applause. Thank you. Thank you very much, Pak Willy, again, and then the audience. Forgive me if there are some mistakes, and give big applause to Pak Willy again. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pak Alvan. Thank you, Pak Willy. Thank you for all.
Pak Yunus, it is.
Okay.
We directly go to the second presenter.
Yeah. Okay. Time for Pak Yunus as a moderator.
Thank you, Pak Alvan, by the way.
Right. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Dr. Willy Renandya, and good morning, Dr. Kumawang Jati. I think all of us this morning, we have got very good nutrition from Dr. Willy this morning. Then what we need to do later is to proceed what we have got the good nutrition from Dr. Willy, and we use to improve our English. And I think we got some very good conclusion, I think, from the previous material that technology with SLA-inspired pedagogy can improve students' proficiency. I think we need to give applause to Dr. Willy and their audiences, and we will get another good nutrition this morning from Dr. Kumawang Jati. Good morning, Dr. Kumawang Jati.
Morning,
Pak. I personalized have contacted you some years ago to be a respondent in my research for doctoral degree in UM. Thank you, Pak Kumawang Jati, and I'm happy this morning that I can meet you directly through Zoom meeting. Right, dear audiences, Dr. Kumawang Jati will talk about artificial intelligence in ELT. Reading and writing. Is that correct, Dr. Kumawang Jati?
Yes, that's correct.
Before he presents the material, this is my duty to introduce who the speaker is. And let me introduce myself first. To the audience, I'm Muhammad Yunus. I'm one of the lecturer in University of Islam Malang in Unisma. And I'm happy to be the moderator for these sessions. Right, let me share screens, the biodata of, oh wait, where is it? I think this. Right, so our beloved presenter this morning is Dr. Kumawang Jati. He is the senior English lecturer and teacher training in Institute Technology Bandung. Let me read the educational background. His S1 degree was from IKIP Sanata Dharma in 1987. His master degree is Master of Art in the University of Warwick, England in 1989, and doctorate degree in Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia, Bandung, 2010. Field of his competence is English language teaching, teacher training, and digital material developments, and ICT in educations. Until the present times, he is the English teacher in Institute Technology Bandung and become the senior English lecturer, I think. Right, this is his current workshop and seminar during July until August. I think more than 8 activities he has done for workshop and seminar as the presenter. Right. Dear audiences, Dr. Gumawang Jati is going to deliver his materials about artificial intelligence in English language teaching, reading, and writing. He's focusing on the role of teacher and students in applying artificial intelligence in education. That will be the part of his presentations. And the second part of his presentation probably, and I read his abstract, is going to talk about artificial intelligence in supporting learning English. And then he's also going to inform us about artificial intelligence tools in learning, reading, and writing, that we are happy. And also, I think this is in line with what Dr. Willie has delivered just now. And the last part of his presentation, probably he's going to deliver about artificial intelligence software in reducing teacher workload and effective automatic tasks. That probably the part of his presentation that we will be with him during 1 hour. And please provide the questions in the chat room, or maybe you can deliver letter directly to Dr. Gumawang Jati. I think to make it short, the time is yours, Dr. Gumawang Jati. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Pak Yunus. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Selamat pagi, Bapak dan Ibu. Very good morning to all of us. Okay, before I start my presentation, I would like to start with something it's about online and emergency remote teaching. Karena tadi saya mendengar banyak, sepertinya some of you are confused. We are not doing online at the moment. Right now, we are not doing online. We are doing more emergency remote teaching. Yeah, so let me share my slide. Hopefully you can see my slide. Okay. Can you see my slide then?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. We are not in online learning, because online learning is designed purposely for remote, online main mode, and it's not urgent. It's for long-term solution. Full support from the school and the government and so on. And students, they are aware that they are doing it online. Yeah. But our situation right now is different. It's not online. It's emergency remote teaching. It's in response to a crisis. It's meant to be temporarily, maybe 1 year or 2 years, but temporarily. So it's lack of resources for sure. The teachers are not ready. The students are not ready. The bandwidths are not ready. Everything not ready. Okay. So the student, they don't have choice. I don't have mobile, but I have to learn. Yeah. So that's the situation of emergency remote teaching. Jadi nanti kalau ini jangan sekarang saya tidak, my student got problem in responding to my questions in online. It's not online. It's emergency remote teaching. Yeah. So it's two different things. Yeah. Just reminder. Let me start my presentation. Okay. This is my title: Artificial Intelligence in ELT. I'm going to concentrate on reading and writing. Thank you very much for Pak Willy already go through a lot of pedagogy. I'm going to look at it more in a practical way. Hopefully, we'll give you some ideas later for teaching. And maybe if you're interested in research or in a very practical way to do it with your class first. Yeah. So I'm going to concentrate on reading and writing and AI. Now, what is AI? I'm going to go very quick on this. It's not a robot. It's a machine, whatever, that can perform tasks that's normally require human intelligence. For example, speech recognition, decision making, visual perception. That's an example of AI can use, or that they possess that one. Translation is another feature that right now is used in the area of language. Yeah. So that's AI. Let me move on to education. Yeah. There are a lot of AIs. That's the learner. That's the learner will help. So it's a friend for the learner. I'm going to show you, I'm going to do some demo later on. And also for teachers that will reduce the workload, not replace. I agree with Pak Willy. It's not replacing, but it's reducing our workload, reducing the way we give feedback, reducing when we do preparation and so on. Yeah. Okay. Before I start, I want you to interact with me to go to menti.com, prepare your mobile phone, and then enter the code 9023570. Go to Menti, then there is some questions there, and code 9023570. Yeah, menti.com 9023570. And there are some questions. I'm familiar with respond to that, please. Okay, quizzes. Padlet. Some of you familiar with Padlet. There are 2 participants so far. Okay. Writing revisor. Read lang. So some of you familiar with the AI already, actually. Essay board, familiar with that. Writing revisor is also AI that can help you later on in teaching writing. Yeah. Williams, small, some of you familiar with that. Okay. If you want to participate, you go to menti.com. Then this is the code 9023570 without space. Okay, quizzes, Padlet, writing revisor, essay portrait line, Williams. Okay, there are 26 participate in this. Okay, I wait until say 30, 35, let's see, then I'll move on. 28, yeah. Override, some of you know override, maybe 1 or 2. But most of you know quizzes, very popular. Okay. Number 4, essay part. Okay. So some of you familiar, some of you are not familiar with that. Okay. So in the next presentation, I'm going to demo some of the AI that can be used for teaching reading and writing. I'm going to give you the model, the flow that I'm using with my students, at ITB. Okay, let's move on. I still keep this open. You can work on that while listening to me. Yeah, thank you. So this is just an idea how I use reading and AI for my class. I'm going to demonstrate how I use readlang, and then I'm using Padlet, then I'm using Quillions, and I put that in quizzes. So that's the way I use AI for readlang. Yeah, readlang, it's readlang.com. It's not only for English. So if there is a department of Arabic in your institution, you can introduce readlang to the Arabic teachers. They might find it useful for this. Yeah. how it works. ReadLang, it's creating a flashcard from a website. First, what you have to do is you have to register. Then you will have the facility while you are reading a textbook. For example, I give a text in the website. Then I already got the account for ReadLang. That's in the Chrome. So go to readlang.com and then register, and then you install, and that will be in Chrome. So I have it here, ReadLang. So I open this website. I ask the student to access this. Then they click ReadLang. Yeah. Let's see. It's very much depends on the internet connection. Hopefully it will work well. Let's see. Need to be a little bit sabar and patient with this. My internet connection is not that brilliant. Okay, let me see. Yeah, still try to access that. So when I click ReadLang here, ReadLang web reader has access to the site. So I click, then there will appear like a menu. What language, what is my original language, or what language I use so that I can understand this. For example, this is English text. Then if I use ReadLang, then I will use Bahasa Indonesia. Yeah. When in Bahasa Indonesia, then when I hover, they will help me translating the word. Yeah. Let me go to readlang.com. Probably that's better. This is take too long. Just a second. I need to demonstrate so that you got the idea. So I go to readlang.com. That's my account. Then this is the library. This is the word list that they generate for me. Yeah. And they can generate flashcard. Okay. Now let's do a little bit demo so that you got more a clear idea. Yeah. Okay. Public text, for example. Then I choose say tips with a day at work. For example, I use this text. Okay. Then I click ReadLang here. Okay, I say go there. Public text. I go to tips here, first day at work. Then if I want to know the word impression, I click kesan. On your day, kesan pada. On your first, and so on. So there is no reason right now, if the text is from the website, that the students will have problems. So this is a way you can give a certain website, install ReadLang, then the students, they can learn on their own. Yeah. This is an example. So if I go to my account, so I finish with this, then if I go to my account, then they will give me the list of the word impression. If I want to listen to that, click that. Yeah. So they will generate this automatically, and also they will generate this flashcard for me. Review 8 word. Yeah. Or I can delete flashcard and so on. So this is a way, if you have a lot of reading text, that the student can learn it on your own, and then they can create a flashcard, help translate that from English to Bahasa Indonesia. If you have an Arabic text, they can do the same. Yeah. Arabic text, then into Indonesian, and so on and so on. So it's not only for English. Some languages, not all languages, but major languages is there. Okay. Now that's read lang. How I do that with my student? So I give a text like this. Then the students will learn vocabulary on their own to understand the text. Then I ask them to practice the vocabulary using flashcards. Okay. When they're happy with that, then I prepare a Padlet for them to share their flashcard, to share the word that they just learned, so that it's a collection of vocabulary through the whole class. Then usually I will ask the student to make a summary, sharing of the understanding of the text, yeah, in the Padlet. So I give them, again, reading text, then install readlang. They learn vocabulary and also using flashcard and so on, and then share in Padlet. Then I want them to share their understanding of the reading text in a Padlet. For example, this one. This is my student. What is the author purpose in writing this text? Just to check their understanding. And who is the target audience? So this is the student's work. Put it in a Padlet. Yeah. This is the first meeting of my class. So I turn off the comment. I want them to be familiar with Padlet and readlang so that they are comfortable with this. Okay? Then that's for reading. Then I want to do a quiz using the same text. What should I do? Then I go to Quillions. Quillions is AI that help me or help us in generating questions. Yeah. So I go to Quillion, then I click the website. Let's show you how it works. Yeah. So if you have a text, you have a reading text, you have a website, you can ask Quillions to help you with the text that you have. Kalau ngajar reading biasanya males bikin pertanyaan. Now there are AI that can help you in generating the questions. Yeah. Okay. Quillions.com. Let me enter. Okay, accept. Then I go log in. Of course, then you have to create an account. Yeah. Okay, I already logged in. Then here, click the title. Then you paste the, you click the title. Sorry, my browser acting a little bit weird because my connection, sorry. So you click the here, add a title. Then you select the domain, English, yeah, of course, not geography. Then proceed. Now, because of the internet connection, I'm using a sample text. Yeah. So the title is United States. The lesson is geography. Okay. So the text is there. Now, when you paste the text there, then you click proceed. Then the AI will generate the questions for you. But again, it's very much depending on your internet connection. So the AI, they select keywords. So you can add more keywords or you delete keywords that you don't want. For example, I don't want this one. And I want keyword of, say, South Carolina. Then I proceed. I skipped the review because of the time, but you can review. It's there. This is the questions generated by the AI. So you have a text, paste it there, and the AI will do it for you. Yeah, there are multiple choice, there are open questions, and then you can export this. Yeah, WH question 17, interpretive question 52. Of course, this is a machine. You have to select which appropriate for your students. But at least they gave you some ideas. Yeah, you can export that because if you export that in Word, you have to pay. PDF, you have to pay, but you can use TXT. Still okay. That's for free. Then, for example, I put it in my desktop, United States, then I save that. Yeah. So this is the result. I open it. Can you see the questions on your screen? Can you respond in the chat, please? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Okay. Thank you. So factual questions is there. Yeah. Then you have so many questions from that text. They give you true false questions, multiple choice, interpretative, and so on and so on. They gave you from that text, they give you, wait a second, I think it's over 100 questions, yeah, from a text. So if you are teaching reading, this is an alternative for you to start your draft for asking questions. It's more than enough, 125 questions, yeah. So still, again, we are not going to be replaced, but we are helped by AI to make our life a little bit easier and focus on other things. Yeah. So this is an example of AI for generating questions. Yeah. Okay. Hopefully that will give you ideas. Yeah. Okay. Now let's move on a little bit. So I have a reading text. They learn the vocabulary using readlang. They share understanding in a Padlet. And then I create a questions using Quillians. Then I can create online questions using quizzes. I will not going to demo quizzes because most of you know from the Mentimeter earlier that you know quizzes very well. So you publish the digital questions in quizzes. Yeah, I will not demo this one. Then I move on. So teaching reading using AI, what I did with my student, introduce readlang, ask them to install, then they learn vocabulary, check their understanding, publish in Padlet. If possible, you can have a peer respond there. Or from the same text, I'm using Quillians to generate questions. Then I use a digital quizzes. Yeah. Okay, that's a way how to use that. If you're interested in how to install readlang later on, I can share the slide. There is a tutorial here. If you click that, follow the tutorial. If you don't know Padlet, you click there. They will give you tutorial. It's very simple and straightforward. If you want to have a Quillians account, you click Quillians here, and then there is a tutorial. So I don't have to demonstrate everything in detail. Now let's move on to the next one. This is other AI that's related to reading. Yeah, it's somebody or a robot will read it for you. Sometimes we got tired reading, so you can listen to a robot while they're reading it for you. This e-reader is called Prestigio, can read even Bahasa Indonesia. What you need is, it's free, what you need is a PDF. If you have a PDF, then the robot will read it for you so that you can do other things. For example, you want to read a journal, you are a busy man, you can drive and listen. That's the robot will read a journal for you. Or you can ask the robot to read it while you're cooking. Yeah. So this is text to speech. Another one, this is what my student like, is a summary box. Summary box is an add-on in Chrome. So if you open a website, and the website is very long, and you want to know that quickly, usually in the old time we skim. Right now, the AI will help. It's called a summary box. If you click that, then they will summarize the website. Yeah. So before you read for detail, the robot will read it for you and then give you a highlight on that. Yeah. Highlight on journal, highlight on any website, and also it's free. Yeah. Okay. Now AI for writing. I'm going to give you to share with you my experience in teaching writing for undergraduate. My students, they are not in the English department. Most of them want to be a scientist or engineers. So I'm teaching in the MKU for academic writing. So this is the stage that I use essay writing, for example. Then I will ask essay bot. That's to give idea. I'm going to explain and show how it works later. And also, after they working with the essay bot, they write the first draft. And then they should ask the AI to help revising their draft. And then again, they have to publish in Padlet to get feedback from peers or from me. Yeah. Let me go step by step. First, I'm introducing this. This is essay, basically. Explanation about how to write a perfect essay outline. It's a very good source. I asked them to read this before I give them Zoom meeting. Yeah. So they got the understanding of that. Then I have a Zoom meeting of the outline. They like this a lot because there are a lot of fun facts and straightforward examples. Yeah. Then I asked them to do a mind map, creating mind map. Okay. After that, to give them more ideas, then I asked them to go to essaybot.com. Yeah. Now, how many of you familiar with Essaybot? Can you respond in the chat, please? Yes or no? Just yes or no. If you know Essaybot, yes. If you don't know, say no. In the chat box, please. No. Okay, Putri, no. No. Okay. Okay. If not, then I need to demo that. Yeah, bear with me because my connection at this time is not perfect. Let me share with you the Essaybot. Yeah. So you go to essaybot.com. Again, you register. It's very easy. I already member, then log in. Okay, this essay bot claim that will write an essay for you, but don't trust the AI. It will not write an essay for you. It will give you ideas. Yeah. For example, if I ask the students to write or create something, then create a new essay. Just click that. Okay. Then you have to type there. What's the topic? For example, ICT, okay, teaching, writing, with artificial intelligence. Yeah. Then I click start writing. Yeah, then they will provide me with some paragraph. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they give me a reading. So it's like Googling, but not for article. It's Googling for paragraph. There are a lot of paragraphs that talk about teaching writing with artificial intelligence. For example, I'm interested in this. Then I'll start with this. Okay. Tips for plagiarism concern. I got it. Okay. Then this robot will paraphrase for me. Yeah. So I click OK. So if you put that in a turn-in, they will be okay. This is like original. So machine with machine, compromise. Because I already paraphrased that using the engine. Yeah. Okay. For example, I'm doing this. Then I need another resources. Just click resources and then I got a lot of resources there. For example, okay, I like this one. Click refresh the paragraph. Yes. Then they do refresh that. I'm happy with that. Then I click to my essay. So they edit there, and then the reference is there. Okay. I know it's look perfect. It is not perfect. Yeah, but there are some ideas that I like from this paragraph. There are some ideas that I like from this paragraph. I still have to rephrase. I still have to think logically to make this essay not like essay from a robot, but essay from a human. Yeah. So this essay bot is not writing an essay for the student. It's helping the student to write an essay. If they submit this, it doesn't make any sense. There is no correlation between paragraph 1 and paragraph 2. Yeah. So it needs human touch. Okay. So I show this to my students, and they're working on that on the first draft. What's the benefit from me? The benefit from me, I don't have to worry about ideas. I don't have to worry about plagiarism. I don't have to worry about grammar that much. I'm worried more on the flow of the thought. Yeah. Okay, so that's the essay bot. Then they help the students write the first draft. Then when they finish their first draft, they upload it in a Google Drive. In a Google Drive, there are outright, writing reviser, and Grammarly, and other things that will check their grammar and their punctuation and so on. How many of you familiar with outright? Say yes or no. Some of you familiar with writing reviser. Are you familiar with writing reviser or outright? Yes or no? 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 Okay, if not, I'm going to do a demo a little bit. Then hopefully you are happy with that. It's free. Yeah. So it's an add-on in Google Chrome. Okay, so I asked the student to upload in Google Drive the draft, and then the AI will check them. Yeah. I already put a file here. For example, this writing. This is my student's writing. Then I click add on. Click add on. You can get add on later and then type outright. They will show it to you. Yeah. Okay, so I will check that with outright. So I start. Okay, so the potential improvement. Working. Spelling 0, grammar 3, equivalent 7 for experimental. Which one is the grammar? So this is not 3 grammars. It said.
The use
however,
of however.
yeah. Do you want it dismissed or not dismissed, and so on. So that they highlighted there, and then they gave you option. Okay. So this is outright. You can also use add-on, for example, writing reviser. If you are teaching in the English department, I recommend you to use writing reviser. It's better and it's more complete. They will check your sentence economy, sentence variety, sentence power, sentence clarity, and support tools. For example, I'm going to check with clarity. I'm going to check the pronoun case. If I click the pronoun case, then okay, highlight. Then they will give me explanation what's a pronoun case. Then here they suddenly they said blah 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 blah, but and then they there. Are you sure you're going to write there? Maybe it should be we or I or he. So they gave indication, yeah, but no alternative, only indication. Check this, please check that. So if you're teaching in the English department, I think this is a lot better. Yeah. If they write too long sentences, they can click the sentence economy. The wordiness, for example, if I click wordiness, let's see what happened. Yeah. So that's the wordiness. Short paragraph, there is no wordiness in here. Yeah. So that's an example of AI for checking or proofreading the student's work. Yeah. Okay. So then if I receive the student's work after they got the idea from AI, check by add-on in a Google Drive, there are outright, writing reviser, or Grammarly, or others, then I will receive a better quality of paper. Ya, jadi koreksinya tidak bikin emosi gitu. Kadang-kadang kan we got too emotional because you translate that into bahasa Indonesia, it doesn't make any sense. You translate that into bahasa Jawa, it doesn't make any sense. And then it's very difficult for you to mark the writing. Okay, so after that, then I ask again the students to put in a Padlet. Yeah, to get human input. I want their friend to give input, to read and give comment to other friends. Yeah, after machine, and then human input in there. Yeah. So, for example, this is a first semester from my students this semester. This is how they give comment to one another. Yeah, this is be more than some students give opinion here about their writing and so on. This is after they got input from AI. So even though it's got input from AI and so on, it's not perfect. Yeah, they need human touch. They need their friend to help to be more focused on that. Yeah, and that way, Padlet is the best wall to do that activity. Yeah. Okay, so that's publish, sharing, and peer review. And at the end, then after they're happy with their writing, of course, they have to submit it to me. Yeah. Another AI. Let AI type for you. If you're familiar with dictation.io, how many of you familiar with that? Dictation.io. Can you type that, please? In a chat box? No? No? Okay, I will not show it to you. Okay. Dictation.io is a speech to text. So you say something and then they will type it for you. Let me demo a little bit. Hopefully my connection is okay. Yeah. So you go to dictation.io speech. Yeah. Okay, I have to erase this. Nama saya Jati. Okay, it's well, because I'm using this. Let me try to start. Nama saya Jati. Enter. I just want to say that my English is not very good. It could be a good tool to teach pronunciation, or it may be a good tool to do note taking and so on and so on. Ya, ini contoh saja bahwa mesin sudah bisa mendengarkan. Ya.
Excuse me, Pak.
Ya.
Gumawang, 5 to 10 more minutes to end.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Pak. Okay, so this is I/O. Yeah, other AI that maybe it's good for you to play around later. Good for teaching pronunciation as well. Then the AI, it's been around for decades, of course, but just recently they are being recognized for teaching, and not many people explore that area. Yeah. So AI has a numerous potential benefit for education, could improve the working life of teachers like us when we have to do a lot of work creating questions, for example, just one example that I show you. And also it's a good friend or learning company for students when they study. Kayak gitu. Yeah. Thank you very much. This is the end of my presentation anyway. If you want to access the slide, you can go to bit.ly/Jati-Unisma, or you can go through my emails there. That's my email. Yeah. Thank you. Back to you, Pak Yunus. Thank you very much.
Right. Thank you very much, Pak Gumawang Jati. I think your material give inspirations for us in doing the online learning that you criticized at the beginning of your presentations, that actually we are not doing online teaching today, but what we have is emergency remote teaching. Right. Pak Gumawang Jati has delivered about some tools, or at the beginning he defined about AI, artificial intelligence, and he provided us the teaching reading and AI that there are 4: readlang and pedlag, Quillians and quizzes, right? And also teaching reading and AI, easy writing, easy board, Google Drive, and some other tools that would like happy for us as a teacher to implement in our classroom. Right, Pak Gumawang Jati, some questions have come to us. The first one is from, let me read, from Pak Muhammad Imron Azam. He's from Universitas Islam Malang. He has a questions, the difference between AI and AR, augmented reality. What is the difference between artificial intelligence and augmented reality, and how to apply it, maybe here, how to apply augmented reality into English language teaching? Would you like to answer first these first questions, Pak Gumawang?
Okay, thank you very much,
Right.
Muhammad Imran. What's the difference between AI and AR? Augmented reality is, AI is more on thinking like that I demonstrate to you. Hopefully that's clear. But VR, it's more virtual. It's like if we are going to play around with a frog, then you take the frog, then you open up, and so on and so on. So augmented reality for language learning, maybe it's still too far. It's more on if you're working in with engine, or you are working with something handy, but it's not for language learning. Yeah, for language learning, maybe it's not AR, but VR, virtual reality. Like you can go to London without leaving your home. You can go to Japan without going on the plane. That's using VR, virtual reality, virtual class.
reality.
Yeah, but not AI. Yeah.
Right.
So that's the potential for English language teaching, VR, not AI.
Thank you, Pak Gumawang. The second question is from Ervan Effendi. He has a curiosity. How can you find the AI websites and apps, sir? Right, I think all of us, most of us are digital native, but really not really know about some applications. But you are probably digital native, but you are more modern than us.
No, I'm a baby boomer. Okay, put it this way. I'm interested in technology started in 1988 before the era of the internet.
Okay.
So I hang around with engineers. I hang around with a lot of people, not in the English teaching area, and listening to them. And basically, I'm following their Twitters. Almost everyone got Twitters that's interested in AI, VR, and AR. And I follow their Twitters and listen to their conversation. Yeah. So through social media, I learned a lot about the application. Yeah. So just be active in the social media, follow each other, and then concentrate on that. I'm using my social media more for especially Twitter for my personal development. Yeah.
Okay, so
you are not. And I'm talking to my student for sure.
You are not informed by the IT expert, but you know it by yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. The third question is Pak Gumawang. This is coming from Nur Hidayati from STKIP Bina Insan Mandiri. She has two questions. What are the differences between KEL and MOL? As I know, the difference is only in the tool, computer and smartphone. If we use tablet, it is called as KEL, MOL or TOL, tablet assisted language learning. And the second question is, what are the best solutions of emergency remote teaching challenges in university level, especially about students' economic and internet connections? Because not all students have laptop or smartphones, and not all area in Indonesia have good internet connections. We are also difficult to use televisions as the solution of those problems. Right, some technical problems pertaining to the use of online teaching, or you call it emergency remote teaching, Pak Gumawang.
Okay, thank you, Pak Yunus. Okay, thank you, Ibu Nur, for the questions. Call, MOL, and TOL, they are all the same. Call, when computer comes, then that will help for language learning. So they have a terminology call. When a smartphone comes, then there is another terminology coming, mobile application, assisted language learning. Yeah. Then after later AI becomes smarter and so on, will be another terminology. Right now, TPAC is a technology, and yeah, there are many. So it's following the development of the technology. Yeah. The questions number two, I cannot answer that right away, but there are a lot of ways. In Indonesia, most of the area, they are in 3G area, not 4G. So that's impossible to do video conferencing. There are a lot of solutions. My advice would be email me. I can give about seminars on low technology for remote learning. Yeah, not only in Indonesian case, but in some cases in Africa. So if you email me, then I'll respond to that, because it's not in my head at the moment to mention the resources. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to get the email from Ibu Nurhayati. My email is kumawang.jati@gmail.com. Let me type it for you.
Right, thank you, Pak Gumawang. And this is the last question, Pak Gumawang.
Yeah.
From Bu Ati Umama. She's from Unisma. When students use AI, for example, using EasyBoard, what about the role of students' critical thinking in writings? So asking about the role of the students, how we develop the students' critical thinking in writing process.
When they're using essay board,
Yes.
like I said, essay board is not the answer. Essay board, the writing is very bad. When they have to write an essay board, maybe it's good. Sorry, essay board, maybe it's good when they write only one paragraph. But if they write an essay, not good at all. Yeah. So they need creativity, they need critical thinking, how to connect paragraph 1 and paragraph 2 and paragraph 3 and so on. So that's to think of the audience. They cannot think of the audience. Their grammar are good, but scattered here and there. So my advice would be try it yourself, and then you will know how to communicate with your student. Before you try it, yeah, it's very tricky. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Hopefully that's answering the question.
Yes, I think that's all the questions delivered by the participant, Dr. Gumawang Jati. Before I end this forum, would you like to say something to the audience before we end the Zoom meeting, Pak Gumawang?
I think it's good for you to try. AI is not perfect yet. It's there. And then if you find a good methodology, a good pedagogy, like what Pak Willy said, it will be a good for research. So you try it with your students and then find a good way and then share with other people, because that's a new area. That's all, Pak Yunus.
Thank you very much. Dear audience, let's give applause to Pak Gumawang Jati. Thank you very much, Pak Gumawang. I think our conclusion today, as the previous presenter said, that technology is not an end, but technology is a means to an end itself. I think we do agree with that, and let's be wise to use the technology or the AI itself to help our students learn English, as we have very good and very nice conclusion in the previous Zoom meeting. Technology with SLA-inspired pedagogy can improve students' proficiency. I think that's all from us, and thank you very much once again to Pak Gumawang Jati for your nice and inspirations explanations about the use some tools, how to use some tools, especially how to use the AI in English language teaching. And hopefully we can implement that in our classroom. And of course, for the audiences, if you need more explanations, you can contact directly to Pak Gumawang's email. I think Pak Gumawang has written down his email in the chat room. And I think he is very welcome to respond your email. And also, and I had that experience. Thank you very much. You're a very nice person and a very kind person. Thank you very much for that. Right, that's all I think from me. And for the next agenda, I think I would like to give the time for Ibu Vita. Yeah, Ibu Vita, the time is yours. And thank you from me. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Well, thank you, Pak Dr. Muhammad Yunus. Okay, Bapak Ibu, we come to the closing ceremony. Then I expect that everyone will mute the sound. Yeah. Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So, okay. The Honorable Vice Rector 1, Universitas Islam Malang, Professor DRS Junaidi Mistar PhD, the Honorable the Head of English Education Department, Bapak Eko Suhartoyo SPD MPD, the Honorable our plenary speakers, Dr. Willy A. Renandya and Dr. Gumawang Jati, and also all dearest lecturers of UNISMA and all beloved participants of ICON-ELT. Alhamdulillah, this afternoon we come to the closing ceremony in the first of ICON-ELT. In this closing ceremony, we have the agenda. In this we have three agenda. The first is closing speech from our vice rectors of our Vice Sector 1 of Universitas Islam Malang, and the prayer from Bapak Dr. Alvan Zuhairi, MPD. Well, Bapak Ibu, now let's listen together the closing speech from the Vice Sector 1 Unisma. Please welcome to Professor DRS Haji Junaidi Mistar, PhD.
Okay, thank you very much, Bu Vita. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah rabbil alamin. Assalatu wassalamu ala asrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin. Sayyidina wa maulana Muhammadin. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammad, amma ba'd. The Honorable, our keynote speakers, Dr. Aslam Khan from American College, Malaysia, for yesterday's presentations. And then for today's presentations, we have Dr. Willy Renandya from Nanyang Technological University, Singapore, and Dr. Gumawang Jati from Bandung Institute of Technology, Indonesia. Pak Willy and Pak Jati, salam kenal. Ini sebenarnya we have met several times in a number of occasions sebenarnya, cuma personally kita masih belum begitu so close gitu. Okay, juga thank you very much for the presenters, participants for joining our conference. Kalau ada start, when there is a start, there will be an end, katanya begitu. So yesterday we started our conference, then today we have to end our conference. But one thing that we need to be aware to remember is that when we end our sessions, there should not be an end of our relationship. We still have to develop our relationship both personally and professionally. That's why Pak Willy and Pak Jati, I hope you are still willing to help us. So anytime we need your help, then we could contact you. And I think it should be okay. Then on behalf of the rector of the Universitas Islam Malang, I'll have to give a closing address in our conference. It has been 2 days we are talking about the interconnections of technology, education, second language acquisitions, and ELT practices. Of course, all of the ideas, expertise shared in our sessions, they are very fruitful, they are very important, they help a lot in improving our professionalisms as ELT practitioners. That's why we would like to thank very much for the keynote speakers, Bapak Aslam, Pak Willy, and Pak Jati, and also all the presenters in the parallel sessions. The committee reported that more than 60 papers were presented in the parallel sessions yesterday. And also we would like to thank all the participants. More than 365 participants join our conference. So of course, we have got something from the presenters. One thing we need to underline from the discussions, that technology is not a master. So technology is not our master. Technology is just a means of carrying out more effective teaching and learning process. That's why the use of technology should lessen the teacher's teaching workload, not adding the teacher's teaching workload. That's why, of course, there are some challenges that we need to overcome, something like the availability of the connections, the affordability of the tools, and also the literacy of the teachers and students toward technology. but they are all the challenges that we have to face. And of course, with the spirit of improving the quality of ELT in Indonesia, I think we can overcome all those challenges. One of the solutions proposed in the discussions is that we need to differentiate between online learning and remote learning. What we are now in most cases is remote learning or even emergency remote learning. But then slowly but surely we are stepping forward to online learning, of course. Yes, I think that's all we can share in our sessions. Again, on behalf of the rector, of the officials of the University of Islam Malang, Universitas Islam Malang, I appreciate all the participants sharing and contributions of the keynote speakers. And of course, we do apologize for any weaknesses that we have in handling this conference. Once again, thank you very much for all your participations and for all your contributions to the conference. See you again in next year's conference. We hope that this kind of conference can be held annually. Thank you very much once again. See you next year. See you next time, not necessary to be next year. Next time in different occasions, different conferences and so on. That's all what I can say. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you to Professor DRS Haji Junadi, Mr. PhD. Bapak Ibu, let's we move to having praying together that will be led by Bapak Dr. Alvan Zuhairi, MPD. Bapak Alvan, time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bapak, Ibu, dan semua partisipan peserta, izinkan saya memimpin doa ini. Di doa menurut keyakinan kita masing-masing itu yang lebih utama. Oleh karena itu bagi yang beragama Islam, bersama-sama kita berdoa, dan yang berkeyakinan agama lain, kami persilakan untuk berdoa sesuai dengan keyakinannya. Ila hadrati Muhammadin sallallahu alaihi wasallam wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa dzurriyyati wa ibadi ajma'in. Al-Fatihah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Hamdan syakirin, hamdan na'imin, hamdan yuafi anwa'atuka fi umazidah. Ya Rabbana lakal hamdu kama yanbaghi li jalali wa 'azimi sultanik. Allahumma shalli ala nuril anwar wa sirril asrar wa tilyakil akhyar wa iftahi babil yasar. Sayyidina Muhammadin al-Mukhtar wa ahlil adhar wa ashabil akhyar. Adadani ma'ila wa ibdalih. Allahumma ya Allah, ya Tuhan kami yang pada saat ini baru selesai melaksanakan webinar dengan para pakar yang dalam rangka mempelajari ayat-ayat ya Allah sebagai mana terbagian dari keutamaan dan kelebihan-kelebihan. Allahumma ya Allah, berilah keselamatan, berilah kekuatan iman, berilah kesehatan kepada para keynote speaker, Bapak Dr. Aslam, Bapak Profesor Junaidi, Bapak Renandya, Willy Renandya, dan Bapak Gimawang Jati. Mudah-mudahan beliau telah memberikan kami ilmu yang sangat bermanfaat, sesuatu yang banyak dari kami tidak mengetahuinya. Oleh karena itu sekali lagi berilah kepada beliau semua presenter, semua yang keynote speaker, kesehatan, kemanfaatan ilmu, dan keberkahan hidup. Allahumma ya Allah, kami yang mengikuti seminar ini, berilah kepada kami keridhaan-Mu, berilah kami kesehatan, jauhkanlah kami dari wabak, bencana, terutama corona ini. Allahumma ya Allah, berilah kami kemanfaatan ilmu untuk kehidupan di dunia ini, untuk mahasiswa kami, murid-murid kami, dan untuk kemajuan bangsa Indonesia. Allahumma ya Allah, Kau telah memberikan kami banyak hal, oleh karena itu berilah keampunan, berilah ampunan kepada kami semua bila kami telah melakukan kesalahan. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina adzabannar. Wassallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad nabiyil ummi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wasallam. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun, salamun alal mursalin, walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you to Bapak Dr. Alvan Zuhairi. Bapak Ibu, on behalf of the committee, I would like to say thank you very much for your nice participation during this international conference. Don't forget to fill the link of evaluations of this conference. And also, again, thank you very much, Bapak Ibu. See you next year conference. See you on the next year conference. Yeah, and congratulations for all of you. Bapak Ibu, don't forget to switch on your video. We will have the photo session. Okay.
Thank you, Pak Gumawang, Pak Willy.
Thank you, Bapak Ibu.
Prof. Jun also.
Pak Willy, Pak Jun, Pak Sulam.
Terima kasih Pak Jati, Pak Willy.
Sama-sama.
Siapa yang mondok?
Pak
Okay,
Ganjar.
please switch on your video, Bapak Ibu. We will have photo sessions together. Sudah, Pak Ganjar?
Oke.
Slide berikutnya.
Slide berikutnya. Oke. Ya, next slide. Ya, oke. Thank you Bapak Ibu. Wawal muafiq ila aqwamit thoriq. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. See you next time.
Okay, sorry. Thank you. Okay, I'm leaving now.
Yes, Prof. Thank you very much, Prof. Jun.
Prof. Jun. See you next year, Prof. Jun.
Wes ya.